Hello, good afternoon. Just want to go through some current events with you here. We've got the New York Times now admitting the errors in their coverage of the Gaza Hospital explosion. So, if you remember, there was a bunch of protests and riots were started uh, by pro-Palestinian, and we got to be careful here because not everybody that's Palestinian is wicked, but it's a lot like Black Lives Matter. It's not like everybody that was associated with that was bad, but that movement was taken over by a radical element of terrorists, and so now the Palestinian protests have been taken over by a radical element of terrorists. And they work in conjunction with people in the media, and people in the media know that they're reporting falsehoods. That's why they're called fake news, and the term fits. And so now we have here from Ynet News, and I recommend Ynet News to keep updated with the truth that's happening in Israel right now. So Ynet News is a great resource. But the New York Times admitted the errors in the coverage of the Gaza hospital explosion. So it wasn't Israel that bombed that hospital. It was Hamas themselves that bombed the hospital. Um, and what ends up happening, as we know, but it's worth mentioning again, that once you have that report and then that becomes the narrative, and then they say, oops, we made a mistake, but it's very small print, page 4 after a front page article. And so nobody pays attention to that. That's why it's so important that we pay attention to actually what's going on. We need an informed citizenry to understand uh, this 5G war that's happening against us right now and against this country, to get us to faction off into tribes and point the finger at one another when we can really understand it and what's happening and how we're being manipulated. So this is part of the manipulation by the fake news, and it's dangerous, incredibly dangerous. So people have taken this and also this conflict and used it to justify what's happening in Ukraine, and to say that America needs to spend more money in Ukraine, more money in Israel, war, 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 and push for war. That shouldn't be our first inclination as a country. Our first inclination should be to remove funding from Hamas, to remove funding from Hezbollah, to remove funding from Iran and the people who are promoting this terrorism in Israel, because the terrorism that's happening in Israel is the same terrorism that they are launching against the United States, against freedom. And so, again, we need to be focusing on our borders. We need to be focusing on and building the wall and supporting the dispossessed in Maui, in Lahaina, Maui. We need to take care of our own. It needs to be America first. And we shouldn't be thinking, how do we spend money and start war? We need to be thinking about, how do we pull money back and stop spending so much money? Israel is able to handle, to take care of themselves. And as Iran ratchets things up, Israel is in a position and can, in my opinion, very simply wipe out Iran. The question is, what's the rest of the world going to do? And I can tell you what I believe, that Israel has a right to defend itself. And if they are under attack, and they are absolutely under attack and in war, they have the right to fight back. And if Iran wants to step up into that, and they do, the question is, how public are they going to be about it? Then Israel has the right to defend themselves against Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas. All right. In other news, I wanted to share this quick little piece that I saw on Twitter from Matt Couch, and basically what we're describing here. What's the magic word to get what you want? and it's replaced with "I'm offended." This is the woke mindset that's dangerous right now. Dangerous for our youth, because that's what they're being taught. Be a victim. Once you're a victim, then you're in a position to receive goods, get attention, and that's what's happening. Kids want attention. They want to be paid attention to, and we need to see them and recognize them. But it shouldn't be in a neo-Marxist mindset of saying that everybody is offended or offending. No, we need to toughen up our skin and recognize that this woke ideology and these woke words are incredibly detrimental, and we're falling into the trap of using the language of wokeness to define everything that happens in our world, so that people can fall into one category or another, either oppressed or the oppressor. And so we also see here Sarah Huckabee has taken, the Arkansas governor, has taken this to the next level. And I want to play a clip for you of what she said here.
In a moment, I'll sign an executive order banning a number of all sorts of ridiculous words from state government documents. Those include words like pregnant people, laboring person, birth giver, and several other nonsense terms that have cropped up in recent years.
This is an interesting place. I applaud the efforts of striking words and woke words from state government documents. But what's better is if you replace those words and replace those laws and replace every document that those are in. Because once we start banning words, then the next word that's going to be banned if we lose an election or an election is stolen, then the word woke will be taken out and Marxist will be taken out. Words that accurately describe the weaponization of government against its citizens. And so you won't be able to say weaponization of government against its citizens. Those words could be taken back. So it's setting a dangerous precedent. So I'm not sure if I applaud the effort. You know, we got to do the right thing at the right time in the right way. This is the right thing. It is the right time, but that's not the right way, in my opinion. So these are little nuances that I'd like to share with people as we move forward. We need to make sure that we're constitutional, we protect the Constitution and the freedoms, and don't set ourselves up for future failure.